Governor Andrew Cuomo, still in hot water. This man's been in hot water for some time. People are saying it's probably time for you to get out of that boiling pot. But he said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving this governorship. Nothing you can do about it. And so yesterday we went through this. We went through the entire report that came from Letitia James, the partisan political hack attorney general from New York, who has that weird facial twitch anytime she talks about Trump. That illegitimate president. Remember, she ran for office for the attorney general position in New York on the basis in her campaign of indicting or implicating Donald Trump in some criminal activity. So now she comes out, she goes through this whole report, really angry with Cuomo for, being a perverted old man. And it's now we're having to deal with the fallout, which is a lot of fun, right? Now, this story has been something that's been ridiculous from day one, but it's going to be fun to just dig the needle in a little bit more. Here is Joe Biden now. Andrew Cuomo, been in office for a long time, governor of New York. Massive state, a lot of political power in the financial epicenter of the country. This guy's been palling around with Democratic politicians his whole life. And so now, even though they had a big, long friendship, and even though there was this hagiography going on during the coronavirus pandemic, when Andrew Cuomo was out there in front of the media every day, in front of his, background spectacle, everybody very excited about what he had to say about the coronavirus. So now, turns out he's a serial sexual predator, somebody who harassed half the staff on his campaign team. And we've got some questions now from all of the people that enabled him throughout the years, starting with Joe Biden. Here's Joe Biden. He gets asked about this. Hey, Joe, what do you think? A quick question for you. Do you think that Andrew Cuomo should resign? Here's what he has to say.
Back in March, you said that if the investigation confirms the allegations against Governor Cuomo, then he should resign. So will you now call on him to resign, given the investigators said the 11 women were credible?
I stand by that statement.
Are you now calling on him to resign?
Yes.
Whoa.
And if he doesn't resign, do you believe he should be impeached and removed from office?
Let's take one thing at a time here.
No.
I think he should resign.
Okay.
I understand that the state legislature may decide to impeach. I don't know that for a fact. I've not read all that data.
I've not read all the data. What data is there to read? Is he going to be looking at spreadsheets or something about what the city council or what the representatives there are intending to do? I think he should resign. Sir, do you think he should resign? Yes, I do. Well, what if he doesn't? Do you think he should be impeached? Well, now, whoa. Hold on a minute now. Let's not put the cart before the horse here, right? He's waffling on this thing. Leave it up to the city council, leave it up to the representatives, but don't ask me for any follow-up questions, okay? I said he should resign. That's all that I have on my note card here. I don't know what else to say after this. So she asks a follow-up question. What if he doesn't leave, Mr. President? You're the president. It's your party. You're a Democrat. He's a Democrat. What do you think? You're the leader of the party, of the entire party. Should he resign? Yes, he should. But if he doesn't, then what? I don't. Talk to them. Haven't read the data. Nobody sent me the spreadsheets for the impeachment proceedings. Okay, so now we have another follow-up question. So yesterday, during the show, we talked about Cuomo's very nice montage that he did. Very excellently done. Well done, right? Got to hand it to the man and his defense team, his attorneys, because when they said, hey, creepy Cuomo, you're putting your hands on people's face, like, sort of like massaging their necks. It's not appropriate. That's not okay. He said, oh, I've been doing that to everybody. I've done it with Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Al Sharpton, and everybody else on the East Coast of America. I've molested all of them. And so it's not that big of a deal. See, look at all of this. So now what we got is Joe Biden now, who's being asked about this. This reporter comes back through and says, hey, Cuomo was using pictures of you in this. What do you have to say about that? And I want you to watch the last couple seconds of this. Maybe we'll play it twice. Joe Biden gets a little bit fidgety there as soon as he hears the words "a photo" coming out. This reporter says, hey, Joe, there are photos of you there with Cuomo getting molested as well. What do you think about those molestation photos? And Joe Biden's like, oh, he knows. What photos are you talking about? Here is Joe Biden.
And he's using a photo of you embracing him in his self-defense to say that these are commonplace kind of embraces that he made and the allegations against him. Do you condone that?
Okay, so you saw that. Now watch him gets a little shifty here.
And he's using a photo of you embracing him in his self-defense to say that these are commonplace kind of embraces that he made and the allegations against him. Do you condone that?
Okay, so here's what he says. Here's Joe now. I'm not gonna fly spec this, which is a new phrase. So, as we recall, Joe Biden has had a little bit of a photographic embrace problem, just like Andrew Cuomo did. So here's how he responds to that question.
Look, I'm not going to fly spec this. I'm sure there are some embraces that were totally innocent.
Sure.
But apparently the Attorney General decided there were things that weren't.
Yes. Yes. So the Attorney General said that there weren't. Some of those embraces were probably just perfectly fine. Joe Biden's got some embracing history here. Remember these photographs? Okay, we saw a lot of these prior to the campaigns. A lot of very similar touching going on here, Joe. If what Cuomo did was inappropriate, Joe, how about some of this? What is going on here? This looks like an official Christmas party. That does not look appropriate. If you remember this picture, this photograph is actually hilarious because there's a biker over here who's looking at Joe Biden like this, like, what are you doing? This is insane. Okay, Hillary Clinton is getting molested, back there. This woman is not appreciating the sniffing of the hair here. Also gross. This is a child, apparently, that was being creeped on. Here's Joe Biden, nudging this woman. I think that might be Eva Longoria. Right, all sorts of inappropriate things here from Joe Biden. And he just said that Cuomo should resign for a lot of this same conduct, a lot of the same sexual allegations that he had during the campaign. What are you going to do about that there, Joe? So another reporter asked about that today in the White House. Surprisingly, Jen Psaki today got a little bit agitated over it. Here's what happened.
In a follow-up to the report on Governor Cuomo's sexual harassment, a lot of men in politics have been accused of sexual harassment. President Biden was accused by female Secret Service agents of skinny dipping in front of them, offending them, according to former Washington Post reporter Ronald Kessler, who's an author as well. His former Senate aide Tara Reid accused him of sexual assault. The Washington Post and the New York Times have published multiple accounts of women who objected to the way President Biden touched them. Should there be an independent investigation of allegations into the president as there was into Governor Cuomo?
Well, first I would say the president has been clear and outspoken about the importance of women being respected and having their voices heard and being allowed to tell their stories and people treating them with respect. That has long been his policy, continues to be his policy. That was heavily litigated during the campaign. I understand you're eager to come back to it, but I don't have anything further other than to repeat that he has called for the governor to resign. Go ahead.
Oh, non-answer from Jen Psaki. Of course, she can't give an answer, so she's just gonna. Well, we already litigated that. He got elected in spite of all of his sexual crimes, and so we're not going to talk about that again. So the right answer, obviously, from the press secretary, but not as satisfying. She did get a little bit agitated there, though. You saw that? I know you want to come back to this, egghead, but we're not going to do that. Moves on to the next person. Okay. So my question yesterday, so what, right? Letitia James gave us a 168-page book report. Nothing, so what? She's already done this before. She gave us another 100-page report on the Rochester police that murdered Daniel Prude and then tased a 13-year-old girl or whatever, however old she was. 9, maybe 9. So we know that Letitia James likes to write book reports, but there's not much that comes out from them as a result. The conclusion section is lacking. If I'm grading her book reports, it's like, okay, it's a good introduction. A lot of meat, a lot of additional substantive paragraphs. Thank you for that. You cited your sources. That's all great. But so what? What's the conclusion? What am I supposed to do with this data? 0 out of 5 on that section. Conclusion needs work. This is a satisfactory, unsatisfactory score. Bring it back again. So nothing really came out of her report other than it's just a big laundry list of problems. Now, to be fair, I did speculate that maybe she was working with a grand jury or something was happening under seal that we didn't see, but I doubted that because when we analyzed the facts of these sexual harassment allegations, they're gross, they're perverted, they're not something that I would endorse or encourage. I think that Cuomo is a murderer and a sociopath and a lunatic, all combined into one, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the government has enough evidence criminally to prosecute him for a sex crime. If they did, they should have already been prosecuting it. Letitia James should have already brought this into court. Otherwise, she's allowing a sexual predator to roam the streets, to roam around New York City, piercing nipples all over the place or whatever he's into. So it's pretty obvious to me that it's not going to go anywhere criminally. It's just going to be floating around like a political smear, which is what Letitia James is very good at doing. We saw her do that to Donald Trump. She's going to do it again to another political rival. And it's not appropriate for Andrew Cuomo, for anybody using the Justice Department, the justice system, the Attorney General's office to take out your political enemies is not appropriate, even if it is garbage human Andrew Cuomo. Not okay. So the question yesterday was, well, what are they going to do about this? Are they going to indict him or recommend civil charges? Are they going to, whatever, what are they going to do? Well, they sent it over to somebody else. The Albany County District Attorney's Office, somebody by the name of David Soares, issued this statement, posted this August 3rd on Twitter, said, hey, here's our statement about this report that we've got. Along with the public, today we're made aware of this report from AG James, Tish James, regarding Governor Cuomo's conduct as they relate to violations of civil harassment statutes. We will be formally requesting the materials by the AG's office. We welcome any victim to contact our office. It's a developing matter. We're reviewing the document that was released by the Attorney General. We're going to refrain from additional public comments regarding the status of the ongoing criminal investigation by our office. Okay, so the only thing that you can glean from this is the word "the," right? There is apparently an ongoing criminal investigation by our office. So, okay, so there is something happening. Is anything going to come of it? Probably not. Otherwise, it would have already. They all know this man. They've been working with him for the last however many years. He's been the governor for quite a long time. They know who he is, and they've allowed it to happen their entire careers. He was very politically useful to them until he wasn't anymore, and now they're going to be using the justice system to try to neutralize one of their political opponents. So let's go and check in with two other yahoos. We already saw that Joe Biden, also a serial toucher person, who sort of had a double standard, said that you should resign, even though I've done a lot of the same conduct. Let's check in with Mayor DeBlasio and see what he has to say about this. So he released a statement as well. We can see that over here. Let's go ahead and read this. It says, a statement from DeBlasio. Released the following statement after reading the report. It says, my first thoughts are with the women who are subject to this abhorrent behavior, like this woman here, and their bravery in stepping forward to share their stories. The Attorney General's detailed and thorough report substantiates many disturbing instances of severe misconduct, like that right here, which would be kissing another woman. Andrew Cuomo committed sexual assault and sexual harassment and intimidated a whistleblower. That you can sort of see over here from this article, Me Too stuff, says it's beyond clear that Andrew Cuomo is not fit to hold office, can no longer serve as governor. He must resign. Otherwise, he must be impeached immediately. All right, so we've got de Blasio over here kissing this woman over here, kissing this other legislator over here, and apparently has a habit of greeting female lawmakers with a kiss under the Me Too microscope. Somebody said that that was horrible. And so he's saying that Governor Cuomo should resign, even though he's doing a lot of the same garbage. Now, Nancy Pelosi, of course, is also doing the same thing. She's here saying that, I call upon the governor to resign. So let's see what Nancy Pelosi has to say. Here she is now. Suddenly just, shocked and just embarrassed by this whole thing. We have Speaker Pelosi issued this statement after the conclusion of the investigation. Says, under Attorney General Letitia James, comprehensive and independent investigation into the allegations has been completed. As always, I commend the women who come forward to speak their truth. And so here's a picture of her here with, of course, Creepo Cuomo over here. Getting a little bit handsy over here. You can also see a lot of love between these two. Oh, Cuomo says, look how precious and adoring you are. And she's looking back. They're just embracing these warm touches. Nice, very close photograph over here. The two little lovebirds. Just smooching it up for the last several years and decades, just getting really, really cozy. And Nancy Pelosi says, well, I commend the women now that came forward to speak their truth, not necessarily the truth, their truth. And so she's calling on him to resign. So as I said, I have no love for Andrew Cuomo, right? I think he's a dumpster of a person, but at the same time, what they're doing to him is an inappropriate use of the justice system. It's not appropriate at all. And they're all hypocrites, right? They all knew who this man was. They all palled around with him, kissing him, loving him, holding hands, doing the whole dog and pony show for the media until he becomes useful. And then they just drop him like a bag of dirt. So, okay, well, that's fine if they want to do that. But I take offense when they use the justice system now to start batting around their political enemies. Not appropriate at all. Let's see what you have to say about it over from watchingthewatchers.locals.com. Cue up a couple of these questions. First, here from John Delar says, I can't stand Cuomo, but since I've realized the libtards hate him, I now love him. I hope the horny old geezer fights on and wins. That will drive them crazy. Rock on, Cuomo. Molest them all, especially if he sticks around in the Democratic Party, right? If he doesn't resign, he just kind of hangs on there. They're going to have to deal with him, as he should. He should stick around. I think that would be a lot of fun. It'd give me a lot of good content for the show, so I hope he does. Speech Unleashed says, I have a feeling that the Dems and media are pushing about Cuomo to distract people from all the COVID illegals coming in at the border. If everyone is talking about Cuomo, they won't talk about the border problem. They whipped out the Cuomo allegations before Hunter laptop story first came out too, right? Kind of a convenient little scapegoat when the media calls for it. We got Pinky 2 is here. Hey, Pinky 2. So Pinky 2 I saw over on Locals was trying to find the form. Looks like somebody sent her the form and found it. And here you are. It says, Rob, good to see you. Your back office is coming along nice. I think Cuomo is corrupt. He put those seniors in nursing centers and probably has done much more. So I'm okay with this reason he was found inappropriate. Yes, so I agree with you, Pinky, right? Totally inappropriate. I'm not trying to excuse it. I am just trying to poke fun and needle some of the double standards that exist in the Democratic Party. Grateful that you're here. Thanks for the comments on The Office. You'll notice that the group here, still needs to be attached to the wall, and I'm going to get to that this weekend. I got to finish the wall a little bit more, but it's coming together. Slow progress. We'll get there. Thanks for noticing. NY Renal MD says, ironic that Tara Reade's accusation of rape is a lot by Biden. It must be the dementia meds. I guess there can only be one face toucher in the Democratic Party. That's it. I think that's what you nailed it, Doc. I think that's the basis for this. That's why the other Democrats are mad. Joe Biden is now the official face toucher of the Democratic Party, which is just an awful thought. I'm Not Gas says, not a fearmonger, but with regards to the community building, I'd advise extreme caution and vetting. That sort of thing is a prime target for feds to find a gullible person to gaslight. That's a good point there. See, this is why I had to float it first before I did it. I'm glad I said that. Yeah, the feds. I think they come into our locals monthly meetups with their cameras off, but that's all right. We're talking about America and liberty there. There's nothing bad going on there. We try to be transparent, accountability and transparency. We try to preach. We talk it here and try to live it here. Not doing anything, nefarious here, but I understand your point. Oftentimes, speaking as a criminal defense attorney, many people are not doing anything nefarious, and they still get gobbled up by the feds or law enforcement in some way, shape, or form. And so there is a real danger there. That's a great point, and thank you for sharing that. Want to Know says, I want him in handcuffs now with an orange jumpsuit. Even Joy Behar is eating him alive. Wants a woman governor. They do turn their back on their own quick and ferociously. His brother can join him too, so Cuomo doesn't get lonely and get sued. Tell them both. They'll have nothing but each other in their jail cells, so that'll be nice. Nadarb says, speaking of Democrats that sexually assault people, did you see that Ed Buck guy finally got punished for multiple dudes ODing on meth in his house? I did see that, yes. Big Democratic donor Ed Buck. I think he was convicted of 2 murders. ODs, I think they were African-American men too, so there was a weird racial component to it. But the whole thing just kind of got evaporated from the media because he's a Democratic donor, not a Republican donor. Savdi is here, says, who would have thunk it is a real word. Talking about the peck fly speck, yes, says a small dark speck or stain made by the excrement of a fly, a minute or insignificant spot. As a transitive verb, to mark or foul with fly specks, or slang to examine closely in minute detail, to scrutinize. Otherwise known as Kofefi from Donald Trump. That is from Savdi. Good to see you, Savdi. And thanks for the definition. Yeah, fly speck. That was a new one for me, too. John Delar says, do we have to do this sexual harassment thing again? It's fake outrage 101. We all know this is just political. It's like the Democrats think everyone is stupid. I agree with you, John Delar. It feels like that, totally. We also have 3 Girlies is here, says, yesterday, you discussed Letitia James and put out this document, like a book report, that was a civil investigation. and that it was a question on if she was going to pursue anything. I guess from listening to the news earlier, Albany has decided to take up the criminal investigation. I'm not exactly sure why, given she was already pointed to state and federal offenses. Why would Albany need to take up the criminal investigation when she's already completed the civil investigation? I would only assume it would be for the veracity of the claims entering in criminal court versus civil court. Yeah, so yeah, there is something to that, right? So she's the attorney general. She has certain jurisdiction over certain things. And so I don't practice law in New York, but I'm going to guess that that a couple things. Number one, she wants to defer this to the appropriate jurisdiction that is in her state. It sounds like in this case, it's Albany. So you go to the county prosecutor there and you let them run point on the thing. The attorney general's office did the investigation from a statewide level, but then you defer it back down to the county court to actually prosecute the felony offense, which would be a state level criminal offense that is not a federal charge, right? For the sexual harassment or for the, for sexual assault allegations, if there is enough there, which I still don't think that there is. So that's number one. What was my second? Criminal investigation already. The other point would be discovery, right? So the Albany's prosecutor's office, they don't just get to go and sort of use everything that Letitia James put together. Okay, a lot of that stuff is going to be hearsay material that would be applicable and appropriate in a civil case, but not appropriate in a criminal case. And so Albany is going to have to do sort of their own investigation that is not tainted by all of the hearsay and all of the bad evidence that would be admissible in a civil claim that is not admissible in a criminal claim. So Albany kind of has to go, they got to go through their own chain of custody, their own disclosure rules. They got to have their own witnesses in order. What evidence do they have? Make sure that everything is being properly disclosed to Andrew Cuomo. There's also some theories here that maybe some of the statute of limitations have expired. That some of these things are too old and they cannot be prosecuted. So I'm not, I don't practice law in New York, but a lot of different reasons why she's deferring this out to other prosecutors. One of which might be that there's no basis for criminal charges, and she doesn't want her office to have to reveal that. She wants somebody else to do it. We have NY Renal MD says the history of NYS is that it's a Democrat corruption cesspool. Took decades to take down the state assembly speaker, Sheldon Silver. Elliot Spitzer, I remember Elliot Spitzer. Should I keep going? I've got the point. Yeah, there's a lot of problems there. Elliot Spitzer, I remember that, right? Yeah, that was a weird one. John Delar says DeBlasio probably wants to be molested. He's a creep, puts the lotion on the skin or else it... I don't know if he does, but okay. We have another one here, says Cuomo, the shiny ball. I don't know what that means, but I wonder if it's closely related to Mingle Mamas, which is something that I think Cuomo is a big fan of as well. So all of those great questions came over from watching thewatchers.locals.com. I appreciate all of your love and support. I want to welcome some new members who joined up. We have CP565. We've got Lauren CS who joined up. We've got Boneless Ravioli in the house, along with Venticus Prime, along with Harry Wonder Dog. And I saw right before the show that we had a new member, and I apologize. I was not able to add your name to the show in time, but you will be there tomorrow and for the foreseeable future. I'm not forgetting about you. So welcome to the new members. Thank you so much for your support. Having a lot of fun over there. Our next monthly meetup, August 28th from 7 to 8 p.m. So make sure your calendars are marked. This will be our fourth, or I think it's our fifth one. I think it's our fifth one now. It's over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com. where we're having a lot of fun. A lot of people are chatting away over there. We've got Relic Hunters in the house, Thunder 7. We have one Florida man is here, Feisty Lady. Zuck is in the house. I got to reach out to Zuck. We got, who else is here? Let's see. So they're all chatting a lot. Want to Know, No Doubt, and many others. Let's see. We've got Rebecca Caraway. We have Zulu Zite. We've got Johnny Apocalypse, Curtis Bartle, Rebecca Caraway, Just Cause over chatting on YouTube. Big thank you to the super chats that came in on the day. Shout out to Ben Dover, Random Globetrotter. We've got Vegas Mooch, Ben Dover, and Old Deuce FBT throwing in the super chats that look like that. Thank you all very much for your support on the show. That is it for me for the day, my friends. And I want to remind you, we're going to be back here, same place, same time tomorrow, doing the same thing. We're going to have some fun doing it. 4 p.m. Arizona time, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And for that one Florida man, everybody else have a tremendous evening. Sleep very well. I will see you here tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching. Before you head out, I want to just remind you that I am a criminal defense lawyer here in Scottsdale, Arizona, where my team and I, we've got a long history of helping good people facing criminal charges to find safety, clarity, and hope in their cases and beyond that in their lives. Our phone number for a free case evaluation is 480-787-0394. You can also find us online at www.rrlawaz.com. We can help with any type of criminal charge in the state of Arizona, things like DUI, drug offenses, misdemeanor offenses. And we can also help with clearing up old case records, like expunging cases or making sure that you can restore your rights so that you can vote again or possess a firearm again or apply for some other federal benefits. We can remove mugshots off the internet. Basically, anytime that you or somebody you know or love is in trouble with the law in the state of Arizona, we have an amazing team of people. We would just love the opportunity to help. And our phone number, of course, 480-787-0394. And if you don't need any legal services, that's a very good thing. But you may be interested in some informational offerings so that you are prepared if you do have to deal with the police. And of course, I want to invite you to head on over to gumroad.com/Robert Gruler. You'll notice here, I've got several different trainings that are available, including the law enforcement interaction training. This is the 1, 2, 3 rule for dealing with the police. It's one rule you need, 2 questions that the police can ask of you, and 3 responses if they ask you a problematic question. So that's available now. You can also get a load at my personal productivity system here called Existence Systems. Fun little course. And then we have here, if you're a lawyer or a legal professional, be sure to check out this program. We are meeting twice every month. Again, all of this over at gumroad.com/Robert Gruler. And if none of that sounds any good to you, well, just go ahead and give us a follow, because I'm working on some other products and some other offerings. And of course, if you have not already done so, want to invite you one more time to head on over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com. It's where you can support the show, and it's where we can connect. We've got monthly Zoom meetings and a lot of other goodies coming up. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for watching, and for all of your love and support. I will see you on the next one.